Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all the people who have actually supported me on Patreon. So a massive, huge shout out to Alistair, Dank, big shout out to you, my friend. David Wayne Foster, thank you very much for your support. Edwin Johnson, thank you also. Jeranism, big shout out to you. God Rockin, thank you very much for your support on Patreon. Kirsten Smith, thank you very much. Matt, the same. Really appreciate your support. Michael, or 787GENX, thank you very much for your support on Patreon. Also, Paige Love, thank you for your support. Same to you, Renee, thank you very much indeed. Sam Hine, thank you very much. There's a couple more. Yes, there is. Texas Mike and Tina Baker, thank you, both of you, for your support. Now, we're currently in the interim stages between two debates, so I'm going to raise the mic on the Google Plus Hangouts on air, and you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for the next live show.
As an apparent phenomena as the very sun disk itself.
Well, the way you're talking makes me think, it's back to that thing we talked about before, Erwin, is it physical, is it an optical effect, or is it real? If you watch that video, it's in a real effect, because they can replicate by putting the neon gases next to an electric field and excite those gases and they turn blue. That's not an optical effect. That's a true effect. So
yeah,
be careful.
That's lights. That's lamps.
Yeah, but you need a
not
physical
necessarily
source
the same
of
thing,
the
though.
electromagnetic field.
Say that again, the one?
Sure. Well, yeah. Well, approach it, actually get that confirmation, and I'm sure I'm already pretty much convinced that all the heavenly bodies manifest, the optics of it manifest, and the light through electromagnetic somehow. So yeah, maybe you're right, but that does really kind of require some proof of locality.
Yeah, but the troposphere screws it up for us because it makes them apparent. We cannot see their real position because of the troposphere. That's what's because it's like a looking glass.
Sure, but that's presuppositional reasoning, all of it. I am really just gonna wait until I get some confirmation that the sun is actually, well, at least a position that you can approach.
Yeah,
whatever
I
that
share
is.
the same opinion as you.
Hmm?
I share the same opinion as you.
Right. Okay, yeah, but if you're the train of thought you were entering does already suggest a position, because that's part of that model-based conception.
No, position. Yeah, if it's an electromagnetic source.
Exactly. Yeah. It has to be that's physical. It has to have a position for that in order to manifest. But if it's purely optical, then location is not required.
When I was during the solar eclipse, I was actually taking shots of the sun and moon and all that stuff, and you can see, what you've seen in other pictures of the solar eclipse. It looks like magnetic bands coming off the sun. So, I've actually got images of myself seeing that. So now I'm not saying that's truly what it is, but it looks very similar to magnetic fields.
Okay, I always thought it's like eclipses make the sun look like you're actually looking to a light through a tube, and then the tube is like cut off, but there's still a little bit going through the side. That's how I always that's how my brain like physically interprets that sight. That's what it switches to in its attempt to to physicalize it. It doesn't look like an object going in front of another object at all to me.
Arlen, have you heard the Eric Dollard explanation about the sun, what he thinks is?
I probably did, and I don't have it ready at hand.
No, he was sitting in a car explaining about it, if you can recall the clip.
Okay. So is it an electric universe concept with locality?
Something in that manner. I cannot remember all of it.
Right. Yeah, I understand that, but yeah, again, that still requires locality, and I'm not entirely convinced that is purely how it works. Could, though, it could.
Mhm.
It is a very viable option on the long run, in my opinion.
I think what's pointing in the direction of it being maybe something physical is the clear boundary that we can see. Like we see something that's a circle, but we can see a clear line. But if we look at it with a naked eye, we see more torch beam, like sun rays. We cannot see the shape that clearly. It's like looking at the moon; you can clearly see a line. But I don't know. Still speculation.
Maybe that has to do with the eye lens quality or something.
Maybe, yeah. But then sunspots are interesting as well.
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of interesting things about the sun and the moon and the planets, like what the frick is Saturn? Why does it look like that?
Yeah.
Even through basic telescope, it really does look like that. It's so weird.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Does
there's
it,
a lot of mystery
you reckon you
about
can?
it.
I've never seen weather patterns on Saturn.
No, but I mean that if you look at Saturn, it does look like, well, a little ball with what seems to be like a circle around it.
Owen, have you seen the backside of Saturn?
Hmm?
Have you seen the backside of Saturn? Have you seen it actually spin around?
No, I just
Then
looked
how do you know?
at
How
it.
do you know
I
it's a
just
sphere?
looked at it once, and I was just amazed that it really does look like that. Not the CGI close-up things and everything.
Well,
But
I'll do a
I
quick
can-
quick shout
I
out.
can
Sorry,
show you-
sorry, bear with me. Shout out to Take Back Space TV YouTube channel. So there's a chap called Chris D, and he runs Take Back Space TV, and he has a telescope, and you can literally go into his live streams and pretty much ask him to look at something, and he'll move his telescope to that particular position if it's in his night sky, and he'll have a little look at it for you. It's got exceptionally good muscle memory. He can show you pretty much whatever you want, and he's always looking at the moon or whatever is of interest to him. He's got exceptionally high 4K equipment, running off a Sony camera into his computer with a capture card. It is glorious. Even though I had a telescope, I still do technically, it's at the mother-in-law's, but when he was running a 1080 stream, I could outperform it with my own scope, but it was nice to have it at such convenience with him streaming it. Now that he's up to 4K, I can't get as good as results as he can produce on a bloody telly screen, broadcast through YouTube, so it's phenomenal. Take Back Space TV, big shout out to Christy, tell him I sent you. Well worth it if you just want to have a look at what these things look like in reality.
Yeah.
Can we get a link?
Like I was saying, have you guys ever seen those 2D images? It's called a sort of warp, but then it looks at a certain angle, looks 3D. Wouldn't you say it also could be how you see Saturn?
You're never going to see stereoscopic vision of Saturn. It's not. You've got. You're using. Unless you, I suppose you could be using binoculars, but you're not going to be getting any sort of binocular vision on that light.
Yeah, it's just a thought put out there. That's all.
it's too far away to make out
Says
actual
who?
3D aspects.
Says who? How do you know how far it is?
Yeah, how do you know, Arvin?
Just the optics of it. I don't know.
right.
It's just
The optics would suggest it's close.
Look, the apparent sun also looks pretty far away. It doesn't look like,
No,
to me,
not
like
really.
it's a few meters away. That's all.
Looks really close to me. Sometimes I photograph it, it looks like it's in front of the tree in front of me.
Okay. Never mind.
Anyway.
Nathan, can we get a link for that channel that you just mentioned about the guy that does the telescope thing?
I can do, just not this second. I'm just busy publishing things and setting things up at the minute. I will do, if you remind me. Just type it into YouTube.
Or,
Take backspace TV. You'll find it immediately.
or
All one word.
I found it.
Excellent. I've got to change my chat around anyway, because currently it's got the previous live streams chat on the recording, so I need to change that to the Nathan Oakley chat so we get the actual live stream chat in the recording. But I'll do that as well. I've got a few things. I'm talking out loud now. Just ignore me till the live show starts.
I forgot it's Thursday. We get another live show.
Yeah. Did you say, are you doing another live show?
No, I said I forgot it's Thursday, so we get another live show. Forgot about that.
Yippee!
Indeed we do. Feel free to chat amongst yourselves. This recording is critically important as it goes out to the main audience, the pre-show bit. So dead air is not a good thing.
So the channel that Nathan just mentioned, Take Back Space TV, the guy has filmed the Hubble Space Telescope transit on the 29th of the 4th, 2018. That's really interesting.
Got some badass captures. He's caught the ISS in transit as well. He's got loads.
Ooh.
It's just ace. Chris is ace.
Fancy. I'm just looking for some footage of stars.
The best thing you can possibly do is subscribe to him and wait till you see one of his live streams running. And then just go into his live stream and say, "Hi, Chris," and he'll say, "Who are you?" No, he won't. He'll say hello, and just ask him, "Can I look at Orion's belt?"
Nice.
And he'll just go, "Yeah, no worries," and he'll just move. If it's in his night sky, obviously, if it's not there at the time, then he can't. But providing it is actually in his field of view.
I did subscribe and I'll be waiting for him going live. Definitely.
But he produces his own music as well, so he has he has tunes playing. It's like being in a chill out bar when you've got his stream playing. It's absolutely. I like Take Back Space TV. I can't say enough good things about Christy and his channel.
Yes, music was nice. I just played one of the videos.
It's his own music, so he records it,
Ooh.
and then he plays it back on his live streams. It just, it's just. I'm in awe of Christy. I couldn't do that myself, and I like things like that where you look at someone and go, "I could never do that. That's so awesome. You're so talented. I hate you." I don't really hate him. I think he's ace. Seriously.
He has some good footage of the sun with the sunspots. That's really nice. 4K. Oh, that's Eclipse 2017. Arwen, you should check this one out.
Should I call it Flat Earth Debate 898 Uncut and After Shoe?
Yes. A phenomenon.
Yeah, I'm going to leave that.
Yeah.
Flat Earth Uncut and After Shoe.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, Brenda's shoe phenomenon is never gonna die.
I think I found out what's the cause of a shoe.
What's the cause of shoe?
Brenda.
Got that right.
Yeah, she is a bit of a heel.
I know the cause of shoemaker.
Yeah,
And
shoes-
no soul.
She's a bit of a heel with no soul. More John.
There he is.
I think she should show her point.
Morning.
Morning.
Good afternoon, John.
Hey, Kiwi.
What?
Come off mute and share your breakfast.
I haven't
What's
even got
up?
the breakfast yet, man. It's gonna be a while. I'm still in the fog in the morning. We need to change the time of this show.
You
It's
need
called coffee. Remember, coffee,
Yeah,
coffee.
I was just about to quote Paul from yesterday with the coffee.
I've
If
already been
morning,
at work
then
for
coffee.
4 hours. About to go on lunch.
Yeah, I've
If
been up since 6
morning, then
myself. I've been
coffee.
about 4 hours too.
Oh God.
It's 5:20 p.m. in Bulgaria, guys.
For me, it's
So
about
the
7
world has to
hours.
revolve around John. Is that it?
You need to go to bed. That's what you need to do. If it's...
Funny you say that. Somebody calls me geocentric John.
What's wrong with that?
Says the world revolves around me.
Oh, I
it's
see.
just a little dig.
Hmm.
The geocentric bit I could get behind.
Yeah, she didn't mean it that way.
How about QE-centric?
Curious.
UE-centric.
That's good.
Nothing wrong with that either.
So what's going on? How was the first show? I missed it, man.
Oh, I screwed up big time yesterday. So I ballsed up the end of the recording and accidentally ended the recording, so I had to start another recording for the after show, so it was separate. And out of force of habit, I instinctively just did what I used to do on the old schedule, which was just, okay, we'll publish the first one at 6, the second one at 10. So I did that and just got on with my day. And then tuned into Ranties, realising that it was running at exactly the same time as the debate that I'd published. And I was like, I've cut his audience in half. I felt really, really bad. And then I went to Skype and he's like, Flat Earth debate uncut at 6. What the? And I'm like, I didn't even see the message. So by then it was all done and dusted. So I've been grovelling to Ranty going, I'm really sorry. Yeah, I published it at the wrong time. That didn't address your point in the
So
slightest.
what happened? So what happened to this morning show?
What about it?
That's what I said. I was talking about. I said I missed the first show. So anything outstanding happen on it, or?
No, just had Brenda in demanding that I accept that there's a dome in the pre-show.
Tell John about the gem we found.
Did you accept it?
I accept it. I said that it is perfectly acceptable for you, in this instance Brenda, to make the logical conclusion. And she said, well, you just defy logic. And I said, well, no, it's me taking my audience on that path of logic. I just choose not to overtly state the conclusion because I don't need to make that affirmative claim. There's no necessity for me to do so, but it doesn't mean I disagree with the logical conclusion, which she stated overtly about 5 times, not realising that it's a really... Do you remember about a week ago, John, me saying, look, there's a really delicate tightrope when we're talking about Coriolis, because in the one instance, you're saying the Earth spins underneath, and you're really affirming that point, right? Well, if you don't actually work in that the Earth doesn't turn underneath, you know, you can actually have the opposite effect that you're trying to achieve, which is that people suddenly get brainwashed by you, me, or whoever that's making that argument, that the Earth actually turns underneath. Do you see what I mean? You're just trying to make the fundie in the argument concede their own position when you're making that statement. And she's trying to do the same with me. She's saying, there must be a dome. But she doesn't realise that she's not getting the end conclusion in to say her point actually makes sense and why the dome isn't real. She's just demanding that I accept there's a dome. You're like, yeah, I like your logical conclusion, Bender, but I'm not going to say those words just so you can pin me down on what the dome is when I don't need to make that claim. Anyway, that's how the first show went.
Right. She already made it for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was worth it just for her stupidity in regards to her making it clear that there's a dome, something that I don't overtly state intentionally.
Exactly. Got it. Yeah. Yep. Sweet.
So she's like halfway willing to shit on her own model just to try to get you in some type of position. It's pretty
Yep.
funny.
Yeah, no, I knew a game, but I'm saying that in so doing, she's declaring there's a dome. She's making it clear to my audience that I must accept that there's a dome. That everything we argue about and discuss means there's a dome. But this hasn't been preceded with me arguing about gas pressure being part of our world. It's just that's how the conversation started up. You must accept there's a dome. And the reason is because, like us with Coriolis, we've got to make our opponent accept the position that their world turns underneath. Well, she's using that logic, but she isn't coming to the end conclusion where she says, but the Earth doesn't turn underneath, or in this instance, but there isn't a dome because blah, 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 rhetoric bullshit. She left all of that out, and the only thing that was left on the recording was her demanding that I accept there's a dome.
Yeah, bet
Yeah,
she
it's
doesn't
a
even
weird
realize it.
strategy.
And then Brenda got destroyed on light scattering.
Oh yeah, that was interesting as well. So Brenda basically said we must accept that Rayleigh scattering is the reason the sky is blue. And I said, well, no, you've got to have a distant sun for that to work. And she said, I don't know that that's the case. I'm like, oh, I don't care. I'm done with this conversation. But then Arwen stepped in and looked it up and found a quote that specifically said it's dependent on the distance to the sun. Now, while I was in the argument with her, I was saying, no, this speaks to the housekeeping question, any evidence to the distance to the sun. And then she strawmanned me and said, you said the sun is close in your model. I'm like, you're a liar. I've never said that. The question specifically is any evidence to the distance to the sun. Your argument for Rayleigh scattering requires the sun to be outside of the atmosphere and it being scattered by the atmosphere as it travels through it. And the equivalence I gave, not because I claim it, but just to demonstrate my point, was if the sun was underneath whatever the sky is, then it's not going to travel through it to scatter, therefore, immediately debunking that argument. And given that we know the sun isn't a ball of gas in a vacuum, because it violates the second law of thermodynamics, I can immediately discount her argument that Rayleigh scattering is the reason the sky is blue. She hasn't got a distance for the sun.
Right, and then they basically put in place a Rayleigh scattering model that is completely unrelated to actual experimental data and is basically just going with the angular data of the heavenly bodies, the sun in this case, and the light effect in relation to its angular position. So that's actually based on empirical or optical data at least. But it still doesn't prove the actual claim that it is the effect of Rayleigh's criteria originally claimed, basically.
Right, it's got to immediately make all of the presuppositions that she would make for any sphere assertion, and she's never going to get away with that. Not here, at least, anyway.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join this discussion right here, right now, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by the one, Paul, Flatzoid, Chocolate Sane, Arwen, and we are also joined on Discord by, bear with me a moment, I definitely need more monitors.
I got a wrench.
Got a wrench in this live stream. We're also joined by Dougie, Eli, is that right? Ferris, John, and Ryan Eartherton. Very good to have you all. Wow.
Hello, hello.
Well, it's good to be here. Hello, hello.
Getting some
Hello,
feedback
hello.
on your mic.
Yeah, we hear you in Discord.
Nathan.
Right. Hello.
Yeah, so I'm getting some feedback on your mic, man. Every time you turn it on, it sounds like, there was a gong that was banged and it's just about ready to finish its sound.
All right. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll bring the sound desk up. Anyway,
Or
can
it's not a problem.
can we run some housekeeping questions, please?
Any signs of Earth curvature?
No. Any evidence of axial rotation?
No, actually.
No.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Nope.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Scientific evidence of what?
Gravity?
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Nope. Again, no, Nathan.
Even Marvel find that very fantastic.
Marvel, as in the comics?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty fantastic. Any evidence of the R value?
Retardedness of globe hits? Yes.
I hear yes. Evidence of the R value?
Retardedness of globe hits? Yes. R value. They are retarded.
Is that a
Any
quantifiable,
evidence of
measurable
one
scale, is it? It's how retarded they are in R values.
Yep.
Right, he wants to
Any
ask the last
evidence of
one.
our zombies?
Last one, gas pressure.
Oh yeah.
Yes, there is evidence of gas pressure.
Yes, definitely.
No, I'm hoping someone else will ask the full entirety of our housekeeping question in regards to gas pressure.
Can there be a gas pressure without a container? Or is there any evidence of it?
Definitely no demonstrations of it, at least.
Pipe dreams.
So, regardless...
Outside.
Brenda's pipe dreams.
Yeah, it's pipe dreams and walking outside, pointing at the sky. That's it.
Yeah. But don't look at it.
Pipe dreams that aren't containers.
According to them, they aren't.
Apparently, a pipe is not a container. A swimming pool is not a container. A coffee cup. Yeah, none of those contain things. Right, Brenda?
Apparently, our space is container.
I'm gonna need a notebook of all the silly things Brenda said.
Got a new guest, XLR8. How you doing? I've got to be honest, the caliber of guests in Discord is sometimes poor. No offense to those who talk.
Hello.
Hello. Every time I go to Discord, it's like the conversation immediately. I might as well say, I'm now going to kill the conversation. Hello, Discord.
Oh, boy.
Prove to the audience there is actually people in there. I'm just going to say, regardless of which channel, if you're watching live on Nathan Oakley or on the premiering stream on the Friday night Nathan Oakley 1980 stream, Ballbusters will be tomorrow, so be here or be sphere. That's 8 p.m. UK time and 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we're gonna, as we were for the last week or two, drop anchor on the Coriolis effect. We're also gonna double toe tag Toady, who's been, I don't know why he's so vocal at the moment, or why he's drawing so much attention from Quantum Eraser, but he certainly seems to be. There's no necessity to address the presentation on Ranties, because it was absolute garbage. If you're watching right the hand, mate, what a disappointment.
What? No way it wasn't. His attitude was kind of stupid, but I think he made some interesting points. Not perfectly so, by the way. It wasn't a foolproof representation by any long shot, Coriolis or non-Coriolis.
I was waiting.
Yeah, right.
No,
Yeah,
he's talking about right the hand.
Yeah,
yeah.
yesterday. No.
Yeah, too funny, man. Yeah, he's got me. The jig is up. I was extrapolating the double split experiment by the equivocation fallacy.
Yeah.
Equivocation.
I'm basically not gonna touch upon those things. He definitely has a beef with you, and it's kind of embarrassing.
Well, I missed the live show because my power went out, had some storms go through, and then about 3 or 4 hours later, somebody said, "Hey, Ranty was on, and somebody's challenging you, QE." I said, "All right, let me turn it on." Oh my God, son, you got issues, man, and they're a lot deeper than quantum mechanics. Unbelievable. Nice presentation. I love those wiki supporting citations. It was great. Keep it up.
So just for the benefit of the globeheads in the audience, let's just remind them that there's more and more people around Earth realizing that they're not living on a spinning ball, and they're questioning it very thoroughly. So be happy about that, globeheads.
They're not. They don't sound happy about it. I've got to be honest.
What the hell did that have to do with the discussion?
It's the flat Earth debates. I'd just like to remind them.
I think that's Dayan's little reminder of we're not going anywhere, and more people are waking up to the fact that we're not stuck to the side of a spinning magical water ball in space.
Yeah, and people in Australia don't get red heads and headaches.
They're equivocating.
Equivocating, did you say?
Yes, sir. They're equivocating from the extrapolating.
I don't know what equivocating is.
Equivalation.
Admittedly, I'll often...
What is an equivalation?
An equivocation is where you use two different definitions for the same thing. So in the case of mass, mass is when they describe mass and they've got a definition of a mole and a definition of inertia, that's an equivocation. Now, I often incorrectly identify a false equivalence as equivocation just through brain fart. But yeah, so an equivocation is like the mass example. When they can't define it, they give two different definitions that mean different things for the same thing. That's an equivocation.
I think I know where that mistake is coming from. It's a side effect. It's like an unpleasant side effect of believing in unicorn farts.
Yeah,
You say that all the time.
It's just me talking quicker than I can think.
But what's an equivocation?
An equivocation is a made-up word.
No, that's you're basically in two different places and you're equal at the same time.
Oh, an equal equation, equilification. This is made up. I'm going to look this up. There's no way this is a real word.
It's not, I don't think.
Does anyone have a double split experiment they could show us?
I was waiting for that.
I mean, did you say?
I'm willing to
heard him say it
a double
few
slot
times.
experiment.
Did I miss the joke? What was? Say that again.
The double split experiment?
Say it with a P. Double split.
Right.
No, I have a double splint.
Double splint.
Yeah.
Got two broken legs.
I'm willing to participate in a double slut experiment.
All right, this has gone too far already. No double sluts.
Ah.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed. I mean, he built up the hype in the chat, had right to hand about his demolition, you know. But there we go. And then he was in the chat earlier talking about light as a wave. He's just like, oh god.
Yeah.
Oh, that might be something that I don't know if Arwin was hinting at this. If I'm stealing your thunder or expanding on your point, just let me know either way, Arwin. I'll either apologise or you can applaud me. But when it comes to Rayleigh scattering, John, they've got a description that when it was read out, or when Armin was reading it out from Wikipedia, sounded like they were reifying how a light wave would behave. Am I incorrect in that?
I have no idea. I didn't hear him read it out.
Check it out if you wouldn't mind. Just type in Rayleigh scattering.
I can explain it.
Go on, go
The
ahead, Armin.
original claim came from the conceptualization if you just wave light through some dust or whatever, that's going to change the color depending on the matter. And then it's basically claimed to do the same thing with gas over long distances, all that. And that is how they speculate that the heavens are supposedly showing this blue color, even though there are many problems with this described among that concept. And there's basically a disclaimer that it's true. But then they made models based on that assumption. But those models don't actually apply any optics science or even validate any proof. They just basically claim it and then show you the angular relations with the colors in the heavens as a model.
That's funny. Are they trying to say that it's a wave because of that? Is that what you're implying there, Nathan?
I don't know. I'm asking the question. It just seemed that was where Armin was leading how it came off the page of Wikipedia. I just wanted your take on it.
That's funny. That's ironic in a sense because of Compton scattering showed without a shadow of a doubt that photons, light, was particles. So,
all right.
That's
Did you just dig that up? That's the first time I hear you mention it.
What, Compton scattering? You're having a laugh, right?
Never heard of it.
Huh? Look it up.
Another thing, I wanted to bring this up before, and I haven't for my reasons. But all this wave particle duality stuff came, more or less from Schrodinger, and ironically, before Schrodinger, they had something that they called matrix mechanics. It was done by Heisenberg, Born, and Pascal. And incidentally, Max Born is the grandfather of Olivia Newton-John, by the way. But see, matrix mechanics came before Schrodinger's equation, and it is equivalent, right? The results are no different. It's just a different way of describing it. And in fact, Bohr's model of the hydrogen atom was described best. And in fact, it showed the problems with the Bohr model, and it was matrix mechanics that did it. Now, for some reasons, I think that matrix algebra was kind of not too many people were really up to speed with matrix algebra, but everyone knew wave mechanics, so that's probably why the Schrodinger equation came to the fore, and you never hear anything about matrix mechanics. But I'm just saying, if matrix mechanics took over, you'd never hear any of this wave particle duality nonsense. That's the point.
John, is that matrix?
Right. I want to respond to the claim about Compton scattering. While you were just talking, I was looking through it, and it does not prove light is a particle at all. It actually says that a particle will decrease in energy, completely taking the way of the very concept that it is an indivisible unit.
You're out your mind, sir.
No,
past 2 minutes.
Basically,
hold on. Right, there's three of us talking. Finish your statement, Arwin, and then if you can respond, John. Thank you.
Well, it's basically describing, again, the thing that I didn't even know was called Compton scattering, okay? Basically describes how light interacts with matter, and then when that matter reaches a certain critical energy mass, there is an interaction. That's what it's based on. That's what I originally stated, that the concept of an indivisible energy unit of light is based upon the minima energy interaction required in order for material to show there is interaction with the light.
Okay, thank you. Place. Okay, so quanta. Right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, go ahead, John.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you keep on forwarding me to things, but none of it actually in content addresses my issue that I have.
So you just evaluated Compton scattering in less than a minute and a half, Arwen? Really? Go ahead and tell us about the experiment.
Yeah, just like I did with the other thing, with the scattering.
Yeah, go ahead.
The other one. I did that. I can do that.
Go ahead.
He didn't hear your question.
It's just here. It's in the description. Exactly what it does, where it's, how it's concluded, what it does, then how it's applied later on. It's exactly what I said it is.
So that's Compton scattering, hey?
It's a fast process, but it's still based on the energy interaction minima in order for matter to respond. That's what they base it on. That's obvious. It's described.
So how does that tell us it's a wave?
I'm not claiming it's a wave. I'm simply claiming it's not an indivisible unit that travels distances and has speeds.
What in the world are you talking about?
Well, maybe you should have paid attention in the last 2 months where I was on a daily basis explaining this.
But that might be the case.
Trouble actually catching on upon what I'm saying.
Sure, that might be the case. But the whole point in bringing up Compton scattering is to debunk the notion of wave-particle duality, which is horse shit. They're just particles.
No, but it's not a wave. It's not a wave.
It's not a wave.
Particle.
I mean, it seems that we're in agreement, but that's the reason for bringing up this very subject.
Okay, well, that's then a misunderstanding about a false paradigm because I don't claim a wave. I think that's retarded.
No worries, but you started off
It's very clear, that argument, but I don't think it is a unit traveling a speed.
No worries, but you started off...
That is the presupposition for a lot about quantum mechanics, and that's what I agree with right to hand with, not his overall attitude and extrapolations.
Okay, but you started off reading about Compton scattering, and I think in the first 3 words was the word particle, correct?
Yeah, so?
Thank you.
Okay, no worries.
Yes, just because they use that word doesn't mean that it actually proves it. It explains exactly what is happening. And it doesn't prove an indivisible unit. Yeah, it disproves a wave.
Yes, it does.
Definitely. There's no wave.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes, it does. And the photoelectric effect slams it home for all time.
No, that's just bluster.
Well, you've read the photoelectric effect. I know you have, Arwen.
Yeah, that's a chemical interaction. That's matter-based. Remember?
It's a chemical interaction.
Minimum quanta for the interaction to happen.
What's the formula? Give me the product from the reactants.
He's contradicting himself already, Arwen. He said it's matter. You just said it's matter.
Right? Interaction with matter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but there is a minimum for that because matter is indivisible units at some point. Chemistry kind of proves that. And so any energy that's going to be transferred is always going to be bound by the physical limitations of that matter. It doesn't
your own
prove
argument.
that it is an energy, that light itself is an energy.
That statement undoes your own argument.
No,
it does.
No, it doesn't.
So is it divisible or is it indivisible? Which one is it, Arwen? Quanta.
It is quanta. Quanta is an amount.
Is it divisible or not? You've made 2 contradictory statements now.
Quanta. Yeah, I guess it is divisible. Should be. It's basically an amount. It's on a ruler. The very concept of quanta should be divisible.
It's a discrete chunk. That's what quanta is.
Right.
So it's indivisible.
Okay. Well, in that case, no, it is divisible. It's not a minimum amount.
So right?
Light can be split up indefinitely.
No, it can't.
Yes, it can.
Hold on. We've got to get terms. What does discrete mean, Arwen?
In what context?
in this context or any. It means individual, separate, and distinct.
Right.
Discrete.
Yeah, sure. I'm not going with that. What I'm stating is that all that conceptualization of this discretion of the indivisible unit is based upon the actual interaction of light with matter, which is bound by the matter limitations, because matter does have a quanta. Absolutely, it does. So it's always going to be bound by the interaction of the matter for us to detect it, to even sense it's there. Doesn't mean that it can't exist in lower amounts of energy. We simply wouldn't detect it.
But what's the point of this? This is another one of those times where I'll go, okay.
What's the point of this? Well, let me show you what the point of it is. Because so much of quantum mechanics is all mathematical wizardry based on the
nonsense.
Light is a quanta.
Nonsense. Nothing from quantum mechanics is derived mathematically. Nothing. Citation, please.
It assumes a unit.
Citation, please. Nothing in quantum mechanics is derived from mathematics. Nothing. Zero.
That name again of that thing that's supposed to prove it.
The mathematical descriptions, the derivative is not mathematical. It's been derived from experimentation, Arwin.
What has been? The wave pattern?
No, quantum mechanics.
Oh, the effect, the interaction effect, right?
No, they've established cause and effect relationships.
With what?
With light in this instance.
Right, so based on what presupposition? That it is matter? That it is a unit, a particle? Because the kind of bit of the requirements with the scientific method anyway. But I think it's basically assumed based on the problem concerning light and matter and our means to detect it in the first place.
Okay, hold on, John. Sorry. What's your understanding of the photoelectric effect, Arwin?
Right. Light shines upon the specific type of matter. The matter charges because of the light, and then electrons will displace, roughly. I don't know if I'm getting it exactly right, but that's roughly the effect, and that'll cause like a chemical reaction. So it's going to be bound by that.
What do you mean chemical reaction?
What do you mean chemical? Yeah, you go ahead,
That's
John.
photoelectrics, right?
It's a chemical reaction.
Or wait, that's photosynthesis. Sorry, it's kind of similar.
Okay, so fine, you misspoke. Not a chemical reaction then.
No, electrical. It's charge.
What is?
The matter.
The matter?
Because of its absorption of sunlight.
Right, so we're definitely talking about matter then.
Well, the matter gets charged by the light, yes.
But by the light? We're talking about the light.
Electrons are already charged. That's what makes them electrons.
We're talking here about the absorption of the light, right? Here.
Electrons are already charged.
Okay.
But that's part of your explanation. I almost interrupted you when you said it the first time, because you introduced this interaction between matter and light, even though we're talking specifically about light, which is matter.
The only way we can register light is by its interaction with matter.
No, light's not matter. Light is energy.
That's not what I said.
What is the photoelectric effect?
Well, I'm confused about what you said. So you're not saying it's matter?
No, it isn't. Specifically not.
What isn't matter? Be specific.
Light is not matter.
That's right. It's energy.
Yeah, it's not a particle either.
It is a particle, and the photoelectric effect proves it. All right, let's go over quickly the photoelectric effect. How about that?
Right.
Go ahead.
Yes, please.
Yes. If light was a wave, then shining a light of any frequency on a sheet of metal, no matter the intensity, that is the brightness, it should liberate the free communal electrons, right? Therefore, light is not a wave. Moreover, increasing the intensity of select frequencies does not increase the kinetic energy of the liberated free electrons, the now photoelectrons. So one photon is absorbed by one electron. Therefore, light is quantized, a particle. The end. Have a nice day.
Nice straw man setup there. Nice straw man.
Yeah, how's it a straw man?
And false
explaining
duality also.
photoelectric
Hold on,
effect?
hold on. It's just
paradigm you
it's
actually
not a
present.
straw man. He's not presenting
Yeah,
this
it
as
is
a
a straw
rebuttal.
man, Nathan, and a false paradigm.
Just
You
describing the
started out with
photoelectric
waves,
effect.
never
How is that a
claimed
straw man?
waves. And then
That is-
as a false paradigm, he basically presented particle as the alternative. It's a particle wave duality paradigm, and it's false
That
paradigm.
bullshit.
No, it's not bullshit.
I
It's
just
a
explained
false
it to you, you
paradigm.
clown. You just make
With the
shit up.
claim
You're
of
from
a wave,
MSU.
and the only
Yeah, keep on
alternative
over
that's supposed to
talking
be
me.
real, the
It's the
particle.
fucking ignorant ones that
It's a
fucking
false
keep talking.
paradigm.
You're a clown. You have no idea what you're talking about. Why don't you explain Compton scattering to the audience, please?
Look, just if we can all just take a breath for a minute, please.
Look at pretender clowns. How can somebody that doesn't have a clue just talk about something that they're clueless about? How do you do that? How do you look at yourself in the mirror, right?
It's
How do you
very
do that?
easy. I just
Please, I
don't
wanna know.
strawman people with arguments that they didn't make.
I want to know
Very
how
easy.
you do that.
It wasn't an argument he was making. He just detailed the photoelectric effect. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But
With supposed
hold on, Owen. Hold on.
paradigm of a duality between a wave and a particle. Right.
You understand? I know you understand this. You've argued this. You understand how they've derived that concept, that wave bit, how it came to fruition in the first instance. I know you understand this, Arwin.
Yeah, I do.
So why would you now be arguing for a wave? Why are you now arguing for a wave unless you're deliberately being contrarian?
I don't. Again, now you're strawmanning me.
Well, I'm just confused. It seems like
Yeah,
you're arguing
well,
for a
let me
wave.
then listen to what I say and not constantly assume that I'm like a baller
You
claiming
just said
a wave
wave
because I'm
particle
not.
duality.
Right, that's
I'm
where I
not
definitely have
claiming
to
a
say
wave.
something. You said not like a baller. We call them wiki parroting pretender clowns. Now, you've gone and Google searched this, gone to wiki and parroted what you've read 2 minutes later. Not like a baller.
What are you talking about?
What? How you've just...
I looked it up because John brought it up.
Hey, Anon,
hell?
how you doing?
Hello, boys.
Are you trying to trick me, Nathan? Are you trying to trick me
No,
into
I
making me
think
believe that I'm
not at
actually
all.
making a fool out of myself? Because I'm not. I'm damn well straightforward about what I'm making a claim here for. And that is, light is not a wave. Light is not a particle. It's an instantaneous beam manifestation that is potentially infinitely divisible in nature. There you go. John the pretender clown with your false paradigms.
Then citation, please. Then the experiment.
Screw you. I'm still figuring it out. It's very tough. Because there is no citations for this. Or maybe Dejan knows citations for this.
He's just
He
literally
actually
admitted he's
tends
making
to
it up.
agree with me on this. It's very interesting.
At least unlike
I'm gonna
Brenda.
listen to what
he's
John
just,
has to say and calling
he's not going to let me do
pretender
it.
clown all day.
He's not going to let me point it out. He's overtly admitted he's just making it up.
Bro, he hasn't, Nathan.
Yeah, you did. It's very
No, he
difficult.
didn't.
What's
he
very
didn't.
difficult? What's very difficult? Working out the stuff you don't already appreciate or have validity for. What, making it up, in other words?
I think there is no proof for an indivisible particle nature, and I explained why, and nobody responded. You just proceeded calling me
you just made it
a
up.
pretender clown, and then actually presenting a false paradigm quote of something that I do not
false
claim.
paradigm.
But
What was the
apparently you
false
didn't
paradigm?
even understand that I didn't claim.
What was the false paradigm?
Oh, yeah.
Can we
You know
move
what?
on?
I'm done here for today. This will be
What was the
very
false paradigm?
self-explanatory to everyone. Have
What
a
was
good
the
day.
false paradigm?
He's gone. Hey, Anon.
Yeah.
Hey, what's
Here
up?
comes another one.
Shut the fuck up.
No need. Come on, don't make me kick you out.
Just let me say that I agree with Darwin about light.
Get out!
I'm sorry.
So, well, no, let's have the conversation continue then. So you think light is neither a particle nor a wave?
Well, I think it's just the field, and the particle that's actually being detected is the medium that light is traveling through. and there is a charge inside the particle that's
Oh God.
that has the photon.
Let's hear it. What medium?
Air, whatever.
Ether.
Oh, but Anon's got this example where you suck all the air out of a vacuum chamber and light still travels through there.
Ether.
We don't
Not
have
you,
to-
Anon. Not you. We'll come to you. Don't you worry.
I don't have a lot of time. I gotta go to work soon.
I don't think we have such thing as empty space or vacuum. I think it's impossible to have some space that has nothing in it.
So what's in there?
Just expanded particles, increased
No.
in size.
What quantum mechanics like to call that is they call it the quantum foam. That's what they call it.
No,
Quantum foam? Where have you got quantum foam from?
Google quantum foam.
Is that like
Read
calling?
everything.
Is that like calling like a pencil set a turbo pencil set?
Google it. I didn't make up quantum foam. You think I made that
French
bullshit
brought
up?
up
No, I didn't.
quantum
Hold on.
foam one
Let's
time,
just ask-
and
let's just
Anon
ask Siri.
got all over it. Go ahead, explain it to us. We got Mr.
Read
Google.
the wiki.
What's quantum foam?
Read the wiki, boy.
Yeah, wiki. Another wiki. Google scientist, right?
I don't believe in it, but that's what they claim. That's what your,
No,
your
they
priests
don't.
claim,
They
boy.
don't claim it.
That's what your priests claim, boy.
Brenda claims it. They don't. And who are
Just-
they?
You don't even know what quantum foam is.
Who
It's
are
your subject.
they? You don't
Ju-
even
just-
know who they is.
Just let me say one more thing. I totally actually agree with Curie on everything. I just think that the medium is being misunderstood.
Oh no! Listen to this. Quantum foam, or space-time foam, is
Exactly.
the fluctuation of space-time on a very small scale due to quantum mechanics. The idea
Ooh.
was devised by John Wheeler in 1955. It's a lovely idea by John Wheeler, apparently.
Ooh. Let's
Lovely
appeal to
space
authority.
time. Though, so
Let's do
what
it.
they're trying
Appeal
to
to that
do.
authority, baby boy.
So what they're trying to do is marry quantum mechanics and Einstein's relativity, which are two married bachelors. It's a joke.
No, I don't
Of
think
course,
so.
it's a joke. Your whole
Sure
whole
it
practice
is.
is a joke.
Baseless assertion, generalized
I-
baseless assertion fallacy.
Two months ago, you were all over Wheeler, telling me all about it. Now you're
what-
suddenly, oh, Wheeler doesn't know anything.
Well, listen, Professor John Wheeler,
yeah.
right? Well, listen.
Right.
Some
When you say
people-
right,
Oh
when
my
you
God.
end your sentence
You
with
freaking
right,
clown!
I know you're wrong.
Just because John Wheeler had some insights into the quantum mechanics experiments doesn't make everything that John Wheeler says a fact. Duh.
Okay, well, he has more authority in this subject than you.
Authority, huh?
Some
Yeah.
guy. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Great argument.
You were telling me about how appeal to authority is just not
Yeah.
appealing to somebody who doesn't know anything like you, but appealing to
No,
people
wrong.
who
That's
actually
not an
know
appeal
something
to
and have
authority
actually
fallacy.
done papers
That's not an
like
appeal
Wheeler.
to authority
Wheeler
fallacy, son.
claims there's a thing called
That's
foam.
not an appeal
boy.
to authority fallacy. Clown.
boy.
What is an appeal to authority fallacy? Tell us.
We've been through this 3 months ago.
Yeah, and I
So
bet
now-
you still don't
Hold
know.
on, one at a time. Let's just define these terms. What's an appeal to authority fallacy?
It's appealing to somebody who has the quote unquote authority of the subject matter. He's an expert
No,
in the
that's
subject
wrong.
matter.
That's incorrect.
Yeah, it's like Wheeler. So he
No.
knows about quantum foam. So it's quantum foam is real.
No. Quantum.
So
What a
yeah.
moron, man.
This is your logic, boy.
Yeah,
It's-
your
it-
logic. No, this
it's
is
an
your
idea.
illogic.
It's an idea. It's not backed by systematic experimentation. It's not empirically valid. It's an idea that he's had.
Yeah, just like the rest of the ideas that they had.
No, but in this instance, the appeal to authority on something that's real is very different when they're an expert in that field. That's not an appeal to authority.
So appeal authority has to do with something being real. Please cite that.
No! An appeal to authority is me saying, I know quantum foam is real. I asked my mum.
No, I'm not asking your mum. I'm asking Wheeler.
Okay. And does he have any empirical evidence of quantum foam?
Oh yeah, go read. You just read like 2 sentences. Go keep.
It said it was an
Go
idea.
down the foam rabbit hole. Go ahead.
Why should we? Space time. Go ahead and prove space time.
Yeah, it's
It
a
doesn't
definition.
exist. It doesn't exist. It's nonsense.
Right, so
There
quantum
you go.
foam is a description about space-time, which is a conceptual medium. Not only that, it's his ideas about this conceptual medium of space-time. So it's not that we need to debunk it with any fallacious reasoning. We
No,
can just say
what it
it's
is-
not empirically valid. It's just
The
an
reason
idea
why they-
about a conceptual medium.
The reason why they came up with this whole quantum foam thing is because they can't say the ether word. That's why, because they've already abolished it. So they have to come up with some other bullshit as quantum foam.
Oh my God! Now he's divining intents and motives of complete strangers. Wow! Can you
That's what-
cite that?
That's what this show is about.
Can you cite that?
Say what?
What you just said about they're trying to cover up the ether with it.
Okay, let me ask you something. You think light's a
Yeah,
particle,
that means
huh?
no.
That
right?
means no.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine. This is This is what I claim. What they're doing is because they can't say the
Just made
ether
it
word,
up.
so they have to come up with some other nonsense.
So you
Yeah, in
made
other
it up.
words, you just made it up.
Yeah, just made it up.
Yeah. So hey, check this out. So if
Hey, check
light's a
this out.
particle,
We don't put up
if
with
light's a-
people making shit up
if-
here.
if light's a particle and it's traveling, then it goes
Oh,
through a
okay.
medium that slows it down, and then it exits that medium and it speeds back up. How does that work without breaking the law of conservation of energy?
That's a good question. I like that question.
Please answer
What?
that, Mr. Quantum.
Well, no, I'm not answering questions from somebody just making shit
Well,
up.
I'll ask it. I don't mind repeating it. I don't mind repeating it. So a light particle travels through a glass, slows down because it's traveling through a different medium, but then, seemingly, speeds back up. So how is that possible without violating a couple of natural laws?
I have no idea.
Okay. Anyway,
why don't you
so
tell us
this
what
is-
happens
This
when
is
this
not
light
the reason
comes-
why I came
Hold on a
here. I'm
second,
not here to
Clown
argue
Joe.
this bullshit
Hold on a
with you
second,
guys.
Clown
I
Joe.
seriously, I'm not. I'm
Clown
not.
Joe.
John, just shut
Why don't
up.
you
I'm not here
explain
to
it
argue
to
this
us?
garbage with you. Seriously.
Why don't you explain
I'm
it to us when a light goes into a medium? What's going on there?
Okay, let me explain to you. If it's a wave, hold on. If light is a wave of the medium, right? Then you done? Are you done?
No, I'm not done.
That
And
means
so what
that
medium in the crystal is
that
waving?
means hold on. The speed of light is actually a rate of induction. That means how fast this transverse wave and compression and refraction wave travels through the medium.
Compression and
Now,
refraction
in a
wave.
vacuum where you have removed all the medium, there's something still left, an ether. That's you have this quote unquote speed limit of. Just
That's
shut
what
the
I
hell up. Let me explain this. It's the
you already-
it's called
you've
the
already
C
explained this.
speed of light at 186,000 miles a second. Now, if it goes through a glass, the rate of induction slows down. But as soon as it leaves the glass, the rate of induction speeds back up again. But it's weaker. Just like if you have a puddle of
Right.
water, right, and
I'm not
oil
listening
around
to
it,
your nonsense,
and then
son.
water again.
Yeah.
What happens if you step in the water? The transverse wave goes through the medium of water at a certain rate, and then it hits grease or whatever. It slows down. But as soon as it goes past the grease and there's another water on the other side, the rate will become the same. The rate of
Somebody's
induction of that
sister
wave,
comes in
even though weaker,
and then
is the
changes
same.
that rate of
So it's the
induction,
rate of
and then the-
induction.
then the
It has
decay
nothing to do
max
with
of the
particles
wave
traveling through anything.
Oh, hold on.
Charge
You're rumpusing him, John.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you can't
am.
have me continue.
I'm done with his water
Yeah, of
ether
course you're done.
nonsense.
Again,
We've
I'm
heard
not here to
fi-
talk about this.
The
I
problem-
already know what this
Okay,
is, and
the
you
reason-
guys clearly don't get it.
Okay, the reason the rumpusing ensued, or the point that it started and on, was when you presupposed this medium, ether.
Okay. That sucks. I mean, it's something still has to go. Something still has to be there for you to have a transverse wave and compression refraction
transverse
go through
wave.
it.
Hold on. So, for who to have a transverse wave? Me? No, I don't need that. That's for you to have a transverse wave going through a mediumless medium. You just got to invent one. That's the problem.
It's not that I invented it. It's kind of like those logical deductions where it's like, okay, well, clearly it has wave properties, so it has to be something that's waving. So, I mean, that's again, this is not me. This is Maxwell. This is Steinmetz. This is Oliver Heaviside.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is
Now he's
Tesla.
going to name drop.
This is
Citations, please.
This is all the people. They all knew
Citations,
this.
please.
They all called Einstein crackpot for dismissing.
Citations, please.
Okay,
We
hold
can
on.
destroy your
Look,
argument.
it just seems like rumpusing if Anon ignores it and you just keep saying it. So yes, please can we have a citation that demonstrates either light as a wave or this medium, please?
Like I said, the single or double split experiment will tell you that you see the wave pattern. See, he can't shut the hell up. You see the wave pattern.
Hold on.
You see the interference patterns where you have sections of amplifications and sections of nullifications where the waves cancel each other out, and the other side, the wave hit each other and they work with each other and they increase intensity. You see it on the wall. It's
here we go again. Same
I don't care
argument.
about your
Okay.
mathematical wave
Going
function
on. I
collapse.
got a
I'm just
challenge
talking
for you.
about
I got a
wave
challenge
on
for
my
you.
wall.
I've done it.
We've been through
I've done
this.
it
I don't
5
want to
times
hear.
in the past.
Okay, now can you just let him respond, please?
I'm just not
Anon?
going to talk to you guys about
Anon,
this. I
please
clearly
can you
can't
stop
stop
talking?
rumpusing
You've
it.
made your point now. You're saying I'm just going to stop talking to you guys. Well then, please can you just do that and let him respond?
He's done the same thing over and over again the last 6 times we've talked about this. So I'm going to solve it the same way I solved it the last 6 times. So Anon says that it's the ether waving in the double slit experiment producing the wave pattern. Okay, so what happens when you have the path information and the diffraction wave pattern disappears? Does the ether take a vacation? Thanks. I'll be here all week.
I don't care
Have a
about
nice
your
day.
circus
Hold
sideshow.
on. Well, hold on. That's a specific question, and I'll repeat it even if you don't want to answer it. So, if you know the path information when the light is traveling through the double slit, why is there no longer what you describe as a wave on your wall? Does the ether go away when that happens?
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
So all of this is a circus sideshow created within conjured up within this so-called experiment. You know this. You're not gonna fucking take anything in Cavendish seriously. It's fucking bullshit experiment.
The
Who
hell are
fuck
you
knows what's
talking
going
about
on in there?
Cavendish for?
Same thing is going on with this. I don't know about this no witch path or no
Okay, hold on, both of you.
detectors.
Right, I'm
no
not. Stop.
Let them
Either
go
you don't-
crazy.
There's a simple question on the table. You either say, I don't know, I don't want to answer, and then we can move on, or you have an answer. So, given that it is definitely observed, wave function...
Whoa.
I haven't finished.
Definitely observed?
Anon.
By who?
Anon. It is definitely observed that you have wave function collapse upon knowing which path the particle travels through. Given that instance disappears any notion of a wave, why would it still at that point be described in any way, shape or form as a wave when it has absolutely no wave function to it?
Okay, this is all bullshit created within this circus sideshow. I don't know what you're talking about, this witch path and photon detectors. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay, fine. You don't understand.
Stop.
No worries.
You know how this is.
Don't do a Brenda. Don't do a Brenda.
You know, I learned
Don't
it
do a
from you,
Brenda.
Nathan.
Just second you concede you don't know. So what? That means that you should take over the mic and airwaves for the next 10 minutes, does it?
Yep. That's what it means.
So you don't understand the experimental setup, or the conclusion, or in fact the phenomena itself. Fine.
Okay. So next time somebody brings up Cavendish, remember to quote you exactly verbatim what you just said to me about Cavendish. Okay, you don't know anything about the experiment. You don't know anything about what they're doing. You don't know anything.
Why are you bringing up
should go study
Cavendish, clown?
It's called
because
a logical
it's the same
fallacy.
circus sideshow. It's a
called
comparison.
the logical fallacy of false equivalence fallacy.
Ah.
And a non sequitur. Hey, Anon, did you go and watch the presentation about what Nathan asked you about 5 different times about how they come up with the wavelength?
No.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I figured.
Why not?
I'm busy, man. I got other shit to do. And then you had the crypto
But
stuff
this is
happening,
sweet.
and then you
So
have Epstein happening.
You got
I
enough.
don't have time. I've been busy
You've got enough
researching other
time
shit.
to come and argue that it's a wave. And I'm asking
No, I did not. I did not come here to argue about the wave. That's what I've been telling you.
It's us highlighting his ignorance, so he's got to talk through every fucking word I say.
I came here to say something else.
Yeah, you've said it. You don't know about the experimentation. You don't understand about the phenomena. You don't understand about the setup itself, and you've declared it's hokum. Now, the key to this problem for you is to find out how they derived that convention, those wave functions, that which you are observing collapse in our question. Now, if you haven't studied how they derived that convention, then you're just going to continually assert that light's a wave through ignorance.
Okay. I did not come here to talk to you about waves or quantum mechanics. All I came here is to tell you that I pasted a couple of things in Master B about Epstein and his convention on gravity and all the stuff about gravity. That's what I came here to tell you about, and then I saw you guys arguing and beating up Arwen. So I did not come here to talk about waves. I'm done with this.
He made stuff up and overtly admitted to it and then left after we pointed out that he was overtly admitting to just making it up.
I'm not defending Arwen. I'm just saying that's not what I came here to talk about. I came here to talk to you about
no worries. It's a segue. I get it. It's a segue. It's a segue. Go ahead.
Okay, well, check it out. Go pull up the link on Master B. It's an article from a few years ago about how Epstein invited everybody from Lawrence Krauss to Pinky and even Stephen Hawking and everybody to go and talk about the consensus of science. So you have this pedophile billionaire trafficker trying to work with theoretical physicists to nail down the consensus of topics like gravity. I just found that pretty fascinating.
Yeah, consensus of pseudoscience, in other words, not science.
I hear you. Well, I know that.
There is no consensus of science. Science is the scientific method.
I know. That's why I'm pointing it out, because it's hilarious. I'm not telling you this is cool. I'm just telling you this is the kind of shit that I've been looking into in the past couple of days.
You mean Jeffrey Epstein?
That's the guy.
What does he have to do with science? What?
So Jeffrey Epstein, he loves himself some gravity and quantum mechanics and all kinds of stuff. So he set up in Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Virgin Islands. Yes, baby.
Well, gravity and quantum mechanics are two separate ideas. So stop connecting them.
Thanks,
I'm getting sick of you doing that.
I'm just telling you he's a big fan of those topics. I'm not connecting him. I'm saying he's a fan of these topics. And in Ritz-Carlton Hotel, he invited the highest top physicists of all the disciplines to go there and yap about these things. And again, the quote was to, talk about the consensus of science.
Well,
and
that's
I
a
just
misnomer.
Found that it was funny.
That's a misnomer because there is no consensus in science. If it's consensus, it isn't science.
I know.
If it's
That's
science,
why
it isn't consensus.
That's why it's funny. And the fact that it's being put by a pedo billionaire, it's even more funny. Anyway, I gotta go to work. See you guys.
Thanks, Anon.
Yeah, come back and make some more shit up.
It does frustrate me. I mean, I didn't even think to ask, have you looked up how they derived the convention of light as a wave? The function, light as a wave function, the mathematical description of light when you have the diffraction pattern observed on his wall. Now, he's reifying that into a wave. You'd think he'd look into it. How did they come up with the original description of it in that manner? Because you're not looking at waves in the slightest. They don't look like waves. They don't behave like waves. They're not waves. It's a probability distribution. Wave function.
Yeah. Well, you asked him the question a couple months. It's been going for a couple months now. And he said the first time that he was going to go look, right? So that was a couple months ago. So I just want him to, go look.
It's on a presentation in the link. If you're watching this in the audience, right, click on the link. Doesn't matter which video, live or premiere. In the info box, there's a video that is specifically about the quantum eraser. And in that, it has a full detail. It's about 3 minutes long, tops, that describes in detail where you get the convention, where wave function originated. It's there in black and white. It takes 3 minutes. You just have to scan through.
John?
Yeah, go ahead.
As I stated earlier, that I side with Arwin on this, but later on I said as well that I think you're totally right as well. It's just that we don't understand how the medium behaves. That's what's causing the controversy.
No, I think it's a lot of people making shit up and talking about subjects they have no acumen in. They have barely looked into it. You can tell right away, right? Now, if you've looked into it and you have something cogent to say, I have no problem with that, right? But obviously, these people have not even looked into this topic, and because they have this religious zealotry towards their paradigm, whatever that may be, that whenever you say anything against it, they immediately start with the fallacies, right? That's what happens every single time. And how many times are we going to deal with this splash in water ether nonsense that Anand says every single time?
He obviously doesn't want to look into it. He doesn't want to check it out. He doesn't want to figure out light waves and where that idea's come from. Otherwise, he would have done already. He just wants to come and parrot whatever's part of his narrative. It's come from people like Ken Wheeler.
You got it.
Yeah, Magneto.
You got it. They all talk about this, right? And they all call it, you can tell when there's a pretender clown, they call it the double split experiment. They all do it.
What
I don't know where they got that from.
Well, I was just about to ask exactly that. Why call it? Why is it being called the double split experiment? Get it? And the other thing is, there's another assumption that I've noticed. I thought it was just once or twice, but it's come up a few times now. People assuming that diffraction happens through a double slit only. It's like, what? Do people not realise that you can have single slit diffraction?
Yeah, they don't listen. Just type in into any search engine diffraction in nature, right? Just type that in. You can have a look. Look, this is just Ken Wheeler. Like I said, they're all Ken Wheeler crony wannabes, and double split, and the rest of the equivocation fallacies. This is a joke, people. This is an absolute joke. And the really scary part. These people aren't embarrassed whatsoever. They'll just drone on with their monologues, right? Forever on something they have no clue of, never been around, don't know anything about it. Yep. That's what drives me absolutely insane. Sorry about that. It's one of my pet peeves. That's a pretender clown. And my mission is to stamp them out. And sorry to who that comes on. But if you come out here pretender clowning, you're going to get stamped on. Sorry.
And with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. However, unfortunately, if you're watching this on the Nathan Oakley live stream, this is where we bid you farewell. A massive thanks to all who tuned in, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. And also, of course, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this live show possible. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum, which you should definitely join. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream on Nathan Oakley 1980, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Da-da-dun, da-da-dun.
Oh, I need to move those guys, right? Let me move them.
Oh yeah, stick them all in after show, then it's free for all and they're all unmuted. I think I've been on top of them being muted anyway, so they're all unmuted.
I'll go get them.
Except Zanik, who I didn't see come in. Hello, Zanik. You can talk as soon as you move to the after show room. I'm not going to bother unmuting you because you'll be moved in a second.
John, did that came through? What I've asked you for?
Maybe not. I was probably doing the outro for the live show. Do you want to ask again?
What a lovely day. I wanted to ask John, what does he think about Walter Russell's work?
Hold on.
He's dealing with the bots in Discord to move people. Yep, all done. Walter Russell.
Never heard of him.
Well, I think that he wrote that misconception book. I think the basic misconception is that we don't fully understand actually particles, and I think that particles are actually made of waves. That's why it's so that the main disagreement comes is that actually we have small particles that are like made out of standing waves.
No, that's a contradiction in terms. You can't have a particle. You can't have a wavicle. That's nonsense. It's a contradiction.
But the thing is that we still haven't seen an atom, so we don't know what it is.
Yes, we have. Oh, yes, we see. This is this. I'm gonna take a break. I can't do this. I really can't.
This is always something
I really
don't know.
can't. I need to take a break from this shit. I can't understand. I don't understand it. Like I told you before, Nathan, back in the day, my buddy was an expert mechanic, right? He could fix anything. Me? I didn't know jack squat about mechanics. Now, you'd hear me, we'd always talk back and forth together, among friends and stuff. But when we got in the garage and everyone was around the vehicle he was working on, everyone was talking, and he was talking about what he was doing, why he was doing it, what the issue was. They would have to send out a search party for me, right? Because I'd shut my pie hole because I didn't know anything about it. That's some good advice people should take. All right? For fuck's sake!
John, point me to where to look for atoms because I really don't know. Genuinely, like.
I think he's taking a break from it. He'll probably come back after he's had a cup of coffee.
Oh, he got triggered.
We've all got a touch of the MSU university at some point.
Have you checked it out, Nathan, that the atoms John was saying about? Did I miss something somewhere? Because I was looking like a lot.
I don't want to speak for him. The last thing I want to do is piss him off. So when he returns, I'm sure he'll answer you once he's had a cup of coffee or whatever he's doing. He's still on the call, so he's just nipped off. I'm sure he'll be back shortly. It's just frustrating. I will speak for him in this regard, which is to say that it's just frustrating when people just essentially make stuff up or counter your argument with their own ignorance. So, it's happened several times on the last show, especially with Brenda. She'll just... Yeah. Her own ignorance is what will lead her to make a conclusion. And in this instance, you're saying, we've never seen atoms. But, it's just one of them.
No, I mean, inside of atoms, not atoms themselves, that we know there are quantities like atoms, like the smallest quantity of a certain material, but have we seen inside of them?
I don't know. That's presumably speaking to particle accelerators, right? And them smashing these things into pieces and looking for Higgs bosons, right?
Yeah, I'm not being Spurs like denying gas. Like I don't deny atoms. I acknowledge atoms, but inside of them, it's what we don't understand. That's what I'm going for.
May be the case. Like I say, I don't want to even pass my opinion on this subject in regards to CERN, because again, it's like John's mechanic example. I have no idea what they're doing at CERN. I know what they tell us they're doing at CERN. I understand what it looks like. But do I believe what they say, given the people who are saying it are known liars? No.
I don't think I think the same as you about CERN. I'm just like I've seen an it's a electron microscope picture of some chemical thing, some bondage of a few atoms, and they say that this is the clearest image they have, like microscope stuff, not like particle accelerators and shit. I think that's full of shit with the CERN thing.
Pray Shiva.
Yeah. Satanic freaks, $13.5 billion. And the only thing they've discovered is electromagnetism or magnetism and electricity. They haven't gone further than this. I have no idea, actually, think what they're doing.
Got one in Terminator 3, haven't they? Pins the woman Terminator to it when they turn it on. Remember?
Yeah.
Quite how they end up at a particle accelerator, I don't know. I can't remember the film that well.
I think they're just having the military approach, like let's just smash stuff and see if anything will happen.
Yeah. Smash it together with a lot of energy really, really fast and see what happens. It's like a demolition derby but with particles, right?
Yeah. Spot the unicorn that will pop out.
Yeah, the Higgs boson. God particle.
Yeah. That's why I read the Higgs field stupidity last time. Because it's just like it's 3 paragraphs and they all contradict each other and they contradict their general idea of space-time. It's like so moronic.
Right. Space-time is what it's necessitated by, isn't it? The Higgs field, yet another conceptual medium. It's all bollocks.
It's
apparently space-time was measured and confirmed by using nuclear forces. Yeah.
Space-time was confirmed by the what forces?
I heard it was measured and confirmed using nuclear forces, as per toe tag, aka Dean. I heard him say that one time.
Nuclear forces confirm space-time.
What the hell?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Sounds like something out of Superman 2.
That sounds like Harry Potter confirming Narnia.
Yep. I just remember the silly shit that I hear.
Yeah, they ain't confirming that conceptual medium.
The time of space, or the space of time.
Yeah, that's what it was. I forgot which flat earther, but he was saying somebody brought up space time. The flat earther said, "Okay, can you prove that?" And Dean said, "Yeah, space time has been confirmed and measured with using nuclear forces." And I was like, "Okay, that's a new one on me."
And did he back up his bullshit assertion?
Of course not.
He didn't validate his claim. He just made that baseless assertion and left it at that, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was on Jose, so nobody was gonna.
Silly me.
Gonna go at him.
No one's gonna say, "Oh, can you back that baseless assertion?" They all just nodded and went, "Of course, nuclear forces show the space-time is real."
Yeah, and the flat earther didn't even challenge him on that. He just moved on to the next point. I was just like, okay, this is when I turn this off.
This is why I don't really
listen to this.
That sounds like a shoe.
Well, the shoe's much more obvious, but when it comes to overt claims that people make, I did it for a long time. You listen to the claim intently and think, how do I undo this assertion? As opposed to, is this assertion true? And how do you establish if it's true? Well, you ask them to back their assertion with evidence. Now, typically, that's where our opponents on this show will cry foul. What do you mean you want me to back it with evidence? That's moving the goalposts. That's what we'll get. But over there, clearly, you just make your baseless assertion and then work on the premise that it's established as a fact because they made it up themselves.
Give the guests more time. Nathan, you're moving the goalpost.
Funny, that's moving the goalpost, but that isn't that the goalpost? Aren't they trying to prove something? That is the goalpost.
Yeah, they're making the positive
And when we ask
assertion.
them to do that, they say we're moving it.
Exactly.
No.
All you're asking them to do is back their fundamentalist claim, and they never will. But like I say, that was a real nugget when I think it was because of Ranty. So John said essentially, when you've got this debate format, the way to progress with the format is to make anybody who's made the claim back it with support, and then you rebut it. In other words, it's not just baseless assertion rebuttal, it's claim followed by support, because there's no requirement for a rebuttal if there's no support to the baseless assertion. If I just say unicorn farts power the blue sky, that's a baseless assertion, right? But if you then start fighting against my baseless assertion for how unicorn farts aren't powering the sky, you've missed the point entirely. You could have rebutted the argument simply by saying, okay, how do you back that claim? And I go, well, it's just known scientific consensus. Unicorn farts, right? Everyone knows. And you go, that's not backing your claim, etc., etc. In other words, you don't need to rebut something if it's just a baseless assertion without evidence.
It's an idea for when Brenda comes, ask her to pop something on screen and then speak about it first. Like first pop it on the screen and then allow her to speak.
Yeah, well, that's what John does. It's just sometimes the subtleties slip you by in terms of the reasons why he's saying something as opposed to what he's saying or how he's saying it. So how many times have you heard QE go, share her screen, share his screen, put it up on screen, get a citation, put it in live stream. That's exactly what he's doing. Right, that's what you're saying. Now let's see the citation. Once we've read it and you've taken us to the specific paragraph that you're citing, we'll see if you can back what's being cited with evidence. So from there, you establish immediately if what is being claimed is actually worth debating about in the first instance.
Yeah. Like John, he has it on screen and then starts talking about it. So we can actually see that he'll go somewhere. Not like Brenda, go somewhere and not have anything.
Or use your argument from ignorance. Oh, well, I'm not 100% sure that that's how it should work in my reification fallacy model, so therefore I win. Because I'm ignorant. And if you were to educate me, I'll then just move on to a different point, strawman the crap out of your rumpus and swear.
Yeah, exactly.
Good couple of shows.
When you're in a video game or you're in Narnia, that gives you a level up with the bullshit that you can spout.
Yeah, if everyone on the panel is under the same presupposition that you're on a spinning ball flying through space, every argument's going to work from that premise and no presuppositions ever get challenged. So, space-time is part of the model. Therefore, an affirmation of space-time by declaration, baseless assertion I should say, is going to go completely unchallenged because everyone just nods. Oh, yeah.
Go
Yeah.
prove it wrong then.
Because they're working on the premise that, of course, it's proven. It wouldn't be rhetoric
Go
that
prove
they
it
are
wrong.
accustomed to. Say again?
Go prove it wrong. If you think it's an assertion, go prove it wrong.
What? That's called a burden of proof reversal fallacy.
Absolutely.
No, it's not.
Okay.
The proof is already presented.
No worries. It's not a burden of proof
Just because
reversal
you can't accept it or you will not understand it, that is your ignorance. That is not falsification.
Let's just try that. Let's just try that on for size. We have to disprove these assertions, so this person claims. So unicorn farts power the sky. Prove me
We're not
wrong.
talking about unicorn farts.
Excuse
We're
me.
talking about
Trying to
space-time.
make a claim that you now need to disprove, like you've said we need to. Disprove what I now state as fact. Proven scientifically valid fact.
It's not a fact.
Oh, really? Well, you've got to disprove that according to your standards. So off you go. Disprove unicorn farts. Go.
There is no such thing as unicorn.
You haven't disproved them.
Anybody
That's
with
a hand
common
wave
sense knows
dismissal. That's not disproving anything now, is it? That's just saying that's not real. Well, unicorn farts are real, because that's equally strong, me just saying they are.
Yeah, but there's no evidence.
You have nothing to back it.
Oh, you've got nothing
You
to
have no
disprove it. Hello?
evidence.
Hello? You've got to go and disprove it now, not hand wave dismiss it.
No,
This is your
no,
standard.
no.
Apparently.
You're
No,
sitting
no,
there
no.
saying-
Rumper singing shoes, you see? I point out where a burden of proof reversal fallacy has been utilised, and then use the exact same standard against the opponent. In so doing, they go a little nuts, because they realise that when I put that on them and say, you now must disprove unicorn farts, they go, unicorn farts just a no, not real.
Because it's not a valid argument.
Oh, really? That's my point. Yeah? Burden of proof reversal fallacy? That's my point. Thank you for
No.
conceding. Well
No,
done.
you're taking something that's made up bullshit and trying to use it as something that it's not.
Yeah, that's precisely what you're doing, and then demanding that I disprove it. Yeah, we're of the same mind. It's nice that you're
No,
conceding
we have
so much.
scientific
Yeah,
evidence.
you're too dumb to realise how I've led you and how you're continually affirming my point. Well done, though.
Well, you have scientific evidence.
No.
You have scientific evidence.
Yes,
scientific evidence of what?
Of space-time.
Oh, you do. Hold on, Nathan. Let me
You
find
can
it.
measure
Put it
from
up
the
on
ground
What did they say?
to any satellite in orbit.
New science. Well, we're going to the scientific evidence. Wait one.
You
Just
can
hold
measure
on.
it
Hold
on
on
the
for a second.
ground
It'll
and
be
compare
okay.
it with measurements in space.
Take a breath. Calm down.
That evidence has been presented
Okay,
since the 70s.
you can calm down.
We have
Okay.
So I asked
Who-
you again
Okay, let's
to
keep it
prove
just
it wrong.
with a couple people here. Okay? Just sit back. Who am I speaking with? Hello? Hello?
Who's
Who is who? Okay, what's your name?
what is my name? Why do you need to know that?
Well, see, I just went and visited my therapist. They calmed me down. They gave me some electric shock therapy. I'm okay now. I'm going to calm down. I want to know who I'm conversing with.
I'll just say that my name is Jess.
Jess. Okay, Jess. You said you had
Jess.
some. Okay. Jess. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Oh, God. This is so painful.
I think you got a
Okay.
yes.
Okay. You claimed that you had scientific evidence of space-time. That is scientific evidence of Einstein's general theory of relativity. So scientific evidence, to have scientific evidence, it must have gone through the scientific method and validated by experiment. So what we're going to do, we're going to
Yes.
start off with the first step of the scientific method, and you're going to walk us through. Nathan's sharing my screen. The audience can see what you say. I'm going to write it down and make sure everything is exact. Okay? So I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And you have to give the answer to those. So the first step is natural phenomena observed, please.
Stars.
Okay, stars. Stars, are they doing anything or is it just stars?
As they move across the sky.
Stars as they move across the sky. Okay, that's your answer. So stars move across the sky is the
No,
natural
that's not.
phenomenon.
That's you saying what's observed. The stars.
The natural phenomena observed is now becomes your dependent variable. That means your effect. Okay?
No, not the effect.
That's what the observed phenomena is in the scientific method.
What you're observing that's natural are the stars and the light that they emit.
Okay. You said stars as they move across the sky. I wrote that down. And that becomes the dependent variable, the effect.
No, because you haven't hypothesized what is causing certain effects.
That's what we're doing
that
now.
you're seeing.
That's what we're doing now. What we're doing is formulating a hypothesis. That's precisely what we're doing.
Okay. So, what is the independent variable for your dependent variable of stars as they move across the sky?
You want to measure the light to determine distance.
So, measure the light is your independent variable. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on. Sorry, just before you go on, John. Sorry. Measure the light. How is that an independent variable?
Because you're measuring it across different spectrum. You don't know how the light spectrum works?
No. An independent variable is something that you will vary and manipulate to cause the effect. Not measure. A measurement's not going to cause anything.
You can measure its...
Don't tell me what we can measure. Just listen to the words I use.
Blue,
Just listen to the words I use. That means shut up. Just listen to the words I use. A measurement will not cause anything ever. Okay?
A measurement will not anything. What the hell does that mean?
A measurement will not cause anything to happen ever.
You're using the light spectrum to determine the distance to get a measurement.
I'm sorry, excuse me. I thought we were proving the general theory of relativity.
Yeah, and you can prove it that it bends around other forms of light.
Can we summarize thus far? Can you let me summarize what we have thus far?
Yeah, I mean, you're asking me as an individual. I'm not an astrophysicist.
You claim that you had scientific evidence, and we wanted you to support
there's
that claim.
There's hundreds of years.
Excuse
of
me.
it.
He asked you
And
if he would have
have
permission. Excuse
nothing.
me. He asked permission, kindly, calmly, to take through what we have established so far from you. Not to get the first sentence out and then immediately have you tell us what pseudoscience astrophysicists say. So please, with sugar on top,
Get that.
with
You
pretty
are
please,
pseudoscience because
with
you
sugar
have
on
nothing.
top, will you shut
conjecture
your
and
mouth
hearsay.
and let him respond based on what you have said thus far? Thank
Well,
you.
you're
That
the one
means
talking, so you shut up.
that means please be quiet. He asked you politely and kindly and calmly. Then you've just decided to interrupt him. Now I'm telling you, please, can you stop doing that? And do not interrupt his response and summary of what you have said so far. Thank you.
Is it okay if I summarize?
I don't care what you do.
Okay, the natural phenomena observed you gave us was stars as they move across the sky. That is your dependent variable. I asked you what the independent variable was. You said measure the light. Therefore, your hypothesis must be measuring the light causes stars to move across the sky.
No, I did not say that.
Sorry, excuse me.
I mean,
sorry, John,
that's
bear
the
with
problem
me.
with people
Excuse
like
me,
you. Y'all
excuse
have
me,
so much
excuse me,
head so far up your ass, you just
excuse
make up
me,
stuff.
excuse me. You've just declared that's not what you said. He wrote
No, I did
down.
not say
Excuse
that.
me,
I did
excuse
not
me. I
say
know this is
that
troubling.
measuring
I
the light
appreciate this
causes
is
the
troubling
stars
for
to
you.
move across the
Please, can
sky.
you stop interrupting me? Thank you. With sugar on top. I'm talking. You did say those words. He wrote down what you said as you said them and then read them back and confirmed they were what you said. Then he's read them again now verbatim. It is exactly
but
what
I
you
did
said.
not-
Excuse me,
I did
I was still
not
in the middle of a
say at
sentence.
any
Excuse me,
time
excuse me,
that the
excuse me, triggered globe head. I'm in the middle of talking. I understand this is troubling and distressing for you. The humiliation based on the nonsense you have
You're a
actually
triggered
said.
retard.
Yeah, at this point, what I will now do, whoever you are, next time you interrupt me, is I will explain the necessity to quieten down this person by means of muting your line. Because unfortunately it seems that when I point out that you are in fact a liar, your declaration that these were not your words is false and inaccurate, and they were absolutely the words
they are
you used.
misquoted.
That's where I use my mute button, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm pointing out for the third attempt that her lie, his lie, whatever this voice changing idiot is using, that this is not his or her words, is a lie. But therefore, whoever this person is has decided that that information will not get dedicated to air. They will interrupt incessantly while we point out for the fourth time now, uninterrupted, that these are your words. They're just nonsense.
You think that misrepresenting someone's words is...
Yeah, shut him up again. I'll say it for the fifth time. We are not misrepresenting your words. We are repeating back verbatim what you said and Quantum Eraser wrote down. Again, for the audience's benefit, I will point out that during this statement, the guest has talked indefinitely over the top of me. It hasn't reached the audience because I've had to take measures. Just for anybody that claims that it's unnecessary muting when somebody's continually interrupting and claiming, lying, that we have misrepresented their words. Lie number 2, we have not misrepresented this person's words. They've been written down as stated and then read back verbatim. They're just bollocks. And it's humiliating to that person.
No.
When it's there she
No.
goes, he goes again.
Stop
Let's
lying.
close the line down again. It is humiliating. That is why this person is so triggered. To declare they have scientific evidence, proof of space-time, and then get asked to qualify their quoted, not made up or misrepresented, scientific evidence of Einstein's theory of relativity and the medium of space-time. We wrote down this, let's call it what it is, utter horseshit that you said verbatim and then read it back to you, only for you to get totally triggered and tell us that we're misrepresenting you. No, you're
Nathan,
just a retard.
Because you are.
You're
Because
just
you
stupid.
are. Because I never said that the light, well, stars moving across the sky was caused by the measuring the light from the stars. I never said that. So stop lying.
I think what we have here is
sorry,
someone who doesn't
just-
understand independent and dependent variables.
No worries.
Exactly. Thank you, Chocolate.
Yeah, we went through it with you. And while we went through it with you, the thing is, whoever you are, it was written down as you said it and recorded both visually and auditory while you said it.
But
So
I
while while you keep talking over me as I point this out now for the 6th time, the words that were written down that came out of your mouth were written down on screen for an audience to see and have not been altered in any way. It is most obvious to everybody watching and listening that you're a liar and that you keep lying.
I never said that.
Yeah, you did. We wrote it down. I'll say it for the 7th time for this
No,
liar.
Nathan, hold on a second. What the problem is like Chocolate said, she doesn't, or he, I don't know, doesn't understand what the independent and dependent variable are and how they combine in the hypothesis. No, she or he never said this hypothesis
Correct.
statement. You're correct. However,
Correct.
the substance of what you said combines to form the hypothesis. You don't need to say it. It's implied heavily. It must be this. By the basis
I didn't
of
even
the
get into
independent
any details at all.
and dependent
And
variable.
for y'all to sit there and
Sorry, Nathan.
imply that I'm...
No worries. We asked her for the details. That's why we said, can you give us what you observed as your phenomena? Step 1. We took or John took great cares to make sure you understood what we were asking you for. And I explained that this was a hypothesis that we were formulating. So we had specific questions about specific parts of science as claimed by you.
You, when I asked you for any scientific evidence that supports anything that you believe.
So we're not making a positive
Do you know
claim.
what the scientific method is?
Hold on, Chocolate. We're not making a positive claim. You made a claim that space-time was scientifically valid. That's why we are putting your claim of science through the scientific method. So to just declare that we haven't backed anything, we're not making any claim here. You are.
No.
Oh, just hand wave dismiss the fact that you claimed that you've got scientific validity to space-time.
Stupid liar.
Yes.
Just liar. Pants on fire.
Hundreds of years of it.
Yeah, you did claim that. We wrote down your
You
claim and then took it through
literally
the method.
are lying. The first thing you said when you came in here was that there is scientific evidence for space-time. First sentence you said when you spoke up. So how are you playing yourself right now?
Just said it again. There is. We just wrote down your scientific evidence and it didn't come to fruition. It formulated into this absolute train wreck on screen based on the words you said.
Nathan, why don't you just go through it again?
Because it's on screen, because the audience knows we've already gone through it. The fact that she can't see it and denies that it's her words and talks over the top when it's pointed out that they are her words, they were in answer to very specific questions. She'll just talk all over everything I say, because it's humiliating.
So again, you're still deflecting to avoid the question that was asked of you.
We asked you the questions. We asked you what your observed phenomena was. The reason we asked was because you made a declaration that space-time was scientifically valid. That's where we came to this conclusion that you formulated a train wreck and that you don't have scientific validity for space-time.
There is scientific validity for it.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. When we asked you to give us it, this is what we got. It's on screen now based on what you told us. So this has now become a circle jerk, with you taking us back to your original assertion that you've not proven. Hello?
Do you want every time that Einstein's theory has been proven?
Einstein's theory? Scientific theory based on systematic experimentation? No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Yes. No, it isn't. If you had any validity to your science, you'd have given it us. There isn't any. There's no scientific theory developed by Einstein.
Again, the fact that you are on the internet right now proves Einstein.
A non sequitur. That's called a non sequitur fallacy. So me being on the internet proves unicorn farts. Disprove that right now.
You don't have to disprove it, just prove something more valid.
No, disprove.
No,
I'm gonna reverse the burden of proof like this person did.
Because Nathan cannot answer a question directed at him.
Marion White.
Again, show me one piece of scientifically accepted fact that supports a flat Earth. Where is it?
Supports a flat Earth. A flat Earth is not an observed phenomena. You don't need to science this.
And you believe it, even though it's not science.
Did you hear what I just said? You're going to address what I just said.
Pseudoscience.
It's just not going to acknowledge anything I say. So she's asked me specifically, or he has laid down a specific challenge which I've addressed, and literally it didn't even get an acknowledgement. What did I just say when asked to provide scientific validity to flat Earth? What was my answer? Hearing problems? Hearing problems, maybe?
You're talking over each other. You're both talking at the same time all the time, pretty much.
Where's the answer, Nathan?
Yeah, I gave it. I'm asking you to repeat it. I gave it. Didn't you hear me? Problems with your hearing? Problems with shutting your mouth when other people talk, maybe? Like now, you can't keep your mouth shut when other people are telling you the answer you've asked for. Maybe you want to ask me again and then shut up afterwards.
Because you can't answer the question.
I have answered the question.
You don't have
I have answered the question. You just
ignored
ignored me.
None of you flat-tards have the
Yeah.
answer.
Do you want me to answer you again, or will you talk all over that?
You didn't answer.
It did.
Yeah, I'm
It did
asking you
answer.
if you want it again. I'm asking if you want a repetition of what's been dedicated to the recording. I have answered you. Yeah? You just didn't hear me because you didn't shut your mouth while I answered, and then you completely ignored what I said.
Zanuck, we can hear you typing.
Sorry.
So do you want me to repeat it?
Go ahead.
So, flat Earth is not a phenomena. You're not talking about an effect of flat Earth. That's not an effect. This isn't a valid scientific inquiry. So asking me to produce scientific evidence for something... Oh, you're going to start talking again? Yeah, it's a malformed question based on your ignorance of what science is, clearly.
Religious zealot.
So you have no evidence to support your denial of gravity. You have no evidence to support any...
No evidence to support my denial of gravity. That's another burden of proof reversal fallacy. Do you have any positive scientific evidence of gravity for me to rebut? Or is it just that you're going to reverse the burden of proof and say that I've got to disprove something that you haven't proven? Another logical fallacy.
Proven already.
You've proven it. Oh, excellent. Let's start again, John. Can you?
Okay,
oh, you've got your
sorry.
screen up. Excellent. Scientific proof of gravity.
Yeah,
Go. Excellent. What's the observed phenomenon?
You can get
Listen
any
up.
physics book and prove it yourself.
Listen. We're going to ask you the same series of questions we asked when you last humiliated yourself. You've made another
Go
positive
buy
claim.
physics for dummies.
Oh, she's going to talk all over me. So let's close that line and make it clear what's happening. There is a positive assertion from this individual, which will later get denied and then reasserted 5 minutes later, that there is scientific evidence of gravity.
Again,
now we're asking
go
you,
buy-
while she interrupts me continually, to actually back your fundamentalist religious assertion that you've asked with the burden of proof reversal fallacy for me to disprove. We want you to actually provide positive
That's
support.
how science works.
Yeah, it's still talking all over me. Provide positive support for your assertion that you've got scientific evidence of gravity, rather than talk over me indefinitely when we actually ask you to back your claim, which is what you're doing. Your little rumpusing tactic is just getting highlighted to the audience while you talk over me, rather than it evading me being able to be heard.
You sit there and you talk about science and you don't have a fucking clue about it.
Oh, it's time to remove this person from this conversation because they're very triggered after multiple humiliations.
You haven't
Oh,
humiliated
you're being
I was just going to ask this
Didn't
person,
you hear?
do they
Bye-bye.
even understand the scientific method? 'Cause talking a lot about science, but
Yeah.
I think she's back to Narnia.
You think these people would understand what science is when we say we'd like scientific evidence and they say there is some, and then we go, give it us then. Rumpus, 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 rumpus. And with that, unless there's anything else, I won't do my rounding out. I was about to, but don't want anyone telling me off that they had some important issue that they needed to address.
Yeah,
No.
bulkheads are getting triggered all over the flat plane because other people are realizing the lie.
And with that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned in on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Another massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this live and after show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!